to it.
Really?
There's only one way, like, I would carpet bomb them.
You would carpet bomb them?
It's the only way you could deal with it.
Palestinians have been the victims of oppression for 75 years, and it has to stop. That's why we're here, to say not in our name. I am older than the state of Israel.
النكبة الثانية عن طريق هرجع تقول النكبة الثانية هنبني كي تقول. My family fought Hitler, not like you Zionist cowards. Oh no, I'm not full of shit. You are a racist. Children are being murdered. You stand here and opportunistically hand out flyers to people who would renounce you anyway.
Easy, guys.
No, it's true.
Easy.
You're a fascist and a genocide monster. You don't believe in all life is equal. You hate democracy. You hate in America where all equal citizens. Go to hell.
Alors, excusez-moi,
juste Lily, est-ce que pour vous,
innocente à Gaza. Alors, excusez-moi,
juste Lily, est-ce que pour vous,
innocente à Gaza.
The media allows this propaganda. The media, I mean, the BBC, even the mere fact the BBC calls it another media outlets call it the Jewish state. It's not the Jewish, it's the Zionist state. It's not the Jewish state. We need a protest outside the BBC. Stop, it's insulting to Jews to call it the Jewish state.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
The British government is supporting this genocide. It's arming Israel, it's financing Israel. BBC and the other media here is supporting genocide. This is illegal, this is immoral. We don't agree with it. We will never agree with it. And as Jews, and myself as Israeli, I am totally against it, and we will continue to be against it.
Hitler made a mistake. We should have been in the gas chamber. Too bad. But we're here, and you can't go to them.
And also, this didn't start on October the 7th. In 1948, Palestinian villages, hundreds of them, were demolished. Thousands of innocent Palestinian men, women and children were slaughtered, and 750,000 Palestinian refugees were created. That's when it started, and it hasn't stopped since.
This woman is Jewish. This woman's family died in the Nazi Holocaust. This woman's family died in the Nazi Holocaust.
Obviously, the public and the law have the right to protest, but that's been slightly hate towards a specific community.
That is not hate. That is the hate to protect the Israeli extermination of Gaza. And you know what is hate? Is to assume that Jews supporting it. That is hate. That is anti-Semitic for you to even imply that Jews support this Holocaust which is happening as we speak in Gaza.
We need to kill Arabs. We need to kill Arabs.
We are Jewish writers, artists, and activists who wish to disavow the widespread narrative that any criticism of Israel is inherently anti-Semitic. Israel and its defenders have long used this rhetorical tactic to shield Israel from accountability, dignify the U.S.'s multi-billion-dollar investment in Israel's military, obscure the deadly reality of occupation, and deny Palestinian sovereignty. Now, this insidious gagging of free speech is being used to justify Israel's ongoing military bombardment of Gaza and to silence criticism from the international community, end quote. The letter goes on to say, quote, we find this rhetorical tactic antithetical to Jewish values, which teach us to repair the world, question authority, and champion the oppressed over the oppressor. It is precisely because of the painful history of anti-Semitism and lessons of Jewish texts that we advocate for the dignity and sovereignty of the Palestinian people. We refuse the false choice between Jewish safety and Palestinian freedom, between Jewish identity and the ending of oppression of Palestinians. In fact, we believe the rights of Jews and Palestinians go hand in hand. The safety of each people depends on the others, end quote.
Jews have been and are being manipulated for geopolitical control, greed, and to fulfill the evangelical prophecy of the apocalypse. Israel is a country wanting it to stop murdering thousands of Palestinians in Gaza, to stop the daily raids, administrative detention, and settler violence and expansion in the West Bank, and to stop 75 years of Palestinian dehumanization is in no way anti-Semitic. Thousands of Jews around the world want the Palestinian people to live in freedom and dignity. The actions of the state of Israel do not represent us. Free Palestine.
זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק, נצטווינו. אנו זוכרים ואנו נלחמים.
It's an entire nation out there that is responsible. It's not true. This rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved, it's absolutely not true.
אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם.
Very puzzled by the constant concern which the world is showing for the Palestinian people and is actually showing for these horrible, inhuman animals who have done the worst atrocities that this century has seen.
עזה לא תחזור להיות מה שהייתה וחמאס לא יהיה. חסל את הכל.
مع هيك وحوش بشرية رايحين نتعامل كيف لازم. إسرائيل فرضت إغلاق كامل على غزة.
هناك إسرائيليون يعني وصفوا الفلسطينيين في غزة وصفوهم بأنهم حيوانات بل أقل من حيوانات.
أنا لا أسويهم بالحيوانات لأن هذا تحقير للحيوانات.
هذا رأيك دكتور مردخاي.
نعم هذا رأيي.
תכסחו אותם כמה שיותר, שלא נשים מהם זכר. שלא הם, לא אמא שלהם, לא הילדה שלהם, לא התינוקות שלהם. אסור להם לחיות לחיות האלה. יש לך שכן ערבי, אתה לא תחכה שהוא יבוא אליך הביתה. תיכנס אליו הביתה ותירה.
תראה, לצורך
לא, אתה חושב שאנחנו יכולים להרוג מאות אלפי פלסטינים ברצועת עזה והדבר הזה יעבור?
תראה, עכשיו בתקשורת הזרה יוצאת הודעה בשם ישראל שמיליון פלסטינים כבר ירדו מדרום הרצועה דרומה, וכל מי שנשאר שם נחשב כמחבל.
תשמיד את עזה עכשיו, עכשיו. עזה הופכת לדרזדן, כן.
הארץ שלנו. כל הארץ. כולל עזה. כולל הלבנון. כל הארץ המובטחת.
Zionists, it's me, the anti-Zionist Jew that you keep telling over and over to go educate themselves. But do you really want me to go educate myself? Are you sure? Because if we're talking about education, we need to talk about the 9 years I spent in Jewish day school learning Hebrew and Jewish studies directly from Israelis and Zionists. We need to talk about the first time I went to Israel and fell in love with the culture there and strengthened my relationship to God. And then we need to talk about the second time I went to Israel on Birthright, where I visited Hazikaron and was told the horrific stories about literal teenagers who fought and died for their country. And then let's talk about my role as president of my synagogue's Jewish youth group and my multiple terms as a board member for my university's Hillel. But if we talk about those things, we also need to talk about the time I checked out a bunch of books about Israel and Palestine from the library after I was attacked on Twitter by some of my Muslim friends for supporting Israel. I left that conversation feeling like everything that I knew was biased. so I had to figure it out for myself. We also need to talk about the reaction I had to reading that the majority of the first Zionists believed that Palestinians would either assimilate into Jewish culture or flee to the surrounding Muslim countries, like they're all the same. And let's talk about how that led me to do a semester-long research project in the first year of my master's program that I did on supporting Palestinian refugees as a social worker. Oh, and then the study that I designed in my second year of the program about bringing culturally sensitive dialectical behavior therapy to Palestine. That one involved so much scrutinizing over the structure of Palestinian society and how the heck I would even make that possible as a Jewish American. I read 50 to 60 academic papers and primary sources for that one. So no, I don't think you want my education. You want my ignorance. Because the complicity in excusing crimes against humanity in favor of a Jewish state depends on my lack of education. I'm not afraid to do the right thing, even if it means that my own people hate me. I'm proud to be Jewish, but I condemn the harm that my people have caused through the displacement and unaliving of millions. We will never be safe until we condemn the role we've had in destroying Palestinian lives. So I'm not ever going to stop speaking up.